Have you guys ever wondered or heard in the markets candles that open and close with no top wick and no bottom wick? I'm sure you've heard this, and I'm sure it causes a lot of confusion, and you must be wondering, what does it mean and how exactly am I gonna trade this? This is exactly why I'm making this video, to make sure that you guys are masters at trading candles that open and close with no top wick and bottom wick. Based on my backtesting in the markets and my experience, I'm able to populate the best scenarios and the different scenarios in order for you guys to be able to trade, as well as avoid certain scenarios that are going to cause you trouble. So make sure to stick to the end of the video, because this video is going to cover exactly what to do in every single scenario based on my experience and what I have found works the best, and also will allow you to make sure that you are making the right decisions and understand fully what it means when candles have no wicks. So that being said, let's get straight into the video and get to the charts, and let me explain to you what to do in these situations. So guys, before we get officially started here, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, please leave a like. If we can get this video past 100 likes, I'd really would appreciate it. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. Plenty of content coming out, plenty of informational videos, something that you should maximize to your complete ability. Down below also is a Discord group. I highly advise you, if you want to improve in trading, to join that. It's completely free, and it's an only place where you can actually ask questions and you're going to get replies. It's not full of BS, it's actually something useful. There's a lot of useful content being put in there. We also do live streams, so if you're interested in joining that, you can show up for that. That is during London session, so consider that. And without wasting more of your time and all the YouTube business out the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, so when it comes to candles not having top and bottom wicks, there's different scenarios that we're going to cover. The first scenario that there is that what if a candle opens with no top wick and we expect price to go up? Same for the downside. Then we're going to cover what happens if we're looking for upside and the candle opens with no bottom wick. And also, what do we do when candles open and close with no top and bottom wicks when we're looking to trade? So scenario number one is one of my favorite ones. Let's say today we were looking for buys. We're looking for price that closed bullish, and we're looking for the next candle to continue bullish, and we're taking buys maybe somewhere like this. We're taking buys at the break of the high to target our next relevant level. So if we're taking buys in that scenario, what might happen is that we see a candle open like this with no top wick and start to flip down and make a bottom wick like this. As it flips, we can see that the candle then flips and leaves a bottom wick like this. So the scenario here is, okay, what do you do when this candle opens with no top wick like this? This is actually a benefit. Well, actually at that time it will be red, so let me make it red. So actually this is a benefit to us when the candle opens with no top wick like this, because this is literally saying that, okay, fine, the candle is going down to create its bottom wick. So when the candle flips, at that time we can get a better entry and don't have to worry about the candle making a bottom wick, and we can enter basically as it breaks the high, and that changes nothing. So it's nice to see when the candle opens with no top wick and flips. That gives us really good confidence that when there's a flip, we should get a good push to continue in the direction we anticipated. So this is scenario number two, and we're going to cover scenario number two here. Is what happens if the next candle opens no bottom wick like this. I think this is a very important scenario here, and it is one that I need people to understand a lot, because this is what causes a lot of confusion here. So a lot of confusion is caused when the candle opens and has a top wick like this but never made a bottom wick. Should you enter, right? This is the questions that people have. Should you have entered at the break of the high? Should you still enter even though there's no bottom wick? And this is where it based on time frames and scenarios, right? Because if we, for example, take the 4-hour time frame, if a candle does not have a bottom wick on the 4-hour time frame, right? If we're on the 4-hour time frame and the candle does not have a bottom wick like this, what do we expect most 4-hour candles to have? We expect most 4-hour candles to have a top and bottom wick. And if we go back and look at just the 4-hour candles here, right, and look at them on the chart here, and let me just clear drawings. So if we look at the chart here and we see the 4-hour time frame, we can see that the majority of candles here all have top and bottom wicks. So we can expect, and it's actually around 80 to 90% of those candles have top and bottom wicks. So when a 4-hour candle does not have a bottom wick or top wick, it actually starts to have a concern, especially if we're trading close to where the candle opened. So for example, if a 4-hour candle has opened bullish, right? And we're trading somewhere here, and you're trading in this candle, which at any time can flip, and you're looking for buys, that can actually become problematic. Why can that become problematic? Because at any time this candle can flip and make a bottom wick. The same thing applies for lower time frames. If we have an hour open, let's say we're trading 1 hour before London open, and that 1 hour in that candle we're 30 minutes in, but still the 1 hour time frame, let me actually draw that, still the 1 hour time frame does not have a bottom wick, and maybe you're taking buys on the 15-minute, somewhere in here you're taking buys. The problem is on a 15-minute the candle might have a bottom and top wick, right? So if we look at a 15-minute time frame, let's say it did something like this, the next candle did something all within the hour, right? The next candle did something like this, closed bearish, right? And now you're taking buys as the next candle closes bullish like this. You're looking to take buys, right? And your position is essentially looking something like this, right? So if your position is looking something like this with stop loss below this candle, and you're looking for longs here, right? That's going to be your position like this, looking for longs and target whatever. But this is the 15-minute, right? 15, like let's say this is 45 minutes worth of price action. So 45 minutes worth of price action, but the 1 hour still does not have a bottom wick, or let's say less, because this candle broke the high. Let's say you entered at the break of the high. So this is only like 30 minutes into the 1 hour candle. At any point of time, and we've had this on live stream, so if you guys don't know already, we live stream, so be sure to join that. And yeah, at any time the candle can flip and make a bottom wick. So you guys have to understand that if there's a candle with no bottom wick on a 1 hour time frame, and for sells no top wick, at any time in this 1 hour time frame the candle can flip and make a bottom wick. And maybe what happens is, and this is, we see this a lot, you're on the 15-minute, you take a trade on the 15-minute, and then what ends up happening is you get a candle that does something like this and makes the bottom wick for the 1 hour. And then once the bottom wick is made, maybe later on in the session you create a support and price continues up bullish. This happens a lot, and you see the 1 hour form a bottom wick. But if we take this scenario on the 15-minute, so let's say that this was a 15-minute candle right here, and that did not have a bottom wick, it kind of changes, because if the hour has a bottom wick, the 4 hour has a bottom wick, and the 30-minute has a bottom wick, one 15-minute candle we don't have to worry about too much. Why? Because if we're trading, let's say at London open, there might be a quick burst of volume, and we don't want to miss the trade. So if there's a 15-minute candle with no bottom wick, we can actually take the trade because we can trust our stop loss, right? And that's where it becomes important, because if you're expecting volume to continue your trade, you don't have to worry about a bottom wick. But if you're trying to hold the trade longer and on higher time frames, at some point it will probably make a bottom wick. So let's go on the chart and have a look at a few examples where there's no bottom wick. You know, basically, let's say we had a closure above here, okay? And your job is, let's say this candle here did not open with a bottom wick, right? So we can actually draw an example like this, and I can do something like this, and check this out. If we did something like this and just scribble this out, something like that, right? And now we can have an analysis. So let's say we wanted to take buys on this candle closure here, but we know volume is coming into the market, and this is a 15-minute time frame. If we know that volume is coming to the markets, and this is London open, and our goal is only to get 10-15 pips, we can just take the trade, expect price to give us a quick push, and as soon as this candle finds some type of resistance and starts to leave a wick like this and starts to flip, we can just go break even. And once it makes its bottom wick, you can look to enter again so you don't miss the move. So that's a little bit more advanced, but you can wait for that candle to flip, right? And once it ends up flipping, you can close your trade quickly if you didn't secure at a quick 15-10 pips. But if you're trying to hold the trade to continue bullish, at some point you can expect this candle to make a bottom wick, and it would be better because it shows you, first of all, it's showing you here that it's respecting the zone, right? It's showing you that it's respecting the zone, and on top of that, it gives you confidence. Once that break the high, you don't have to worry about a bottom wick because it's already happened. So that's why I always prefer to see bottom wicks. But what about the age-old question, which is a huge question that I see, and is the last part of this video? So quick video, nice and simple. What about candles, right, that close with no top and bottom wick? So I'm gonna draw you an example. Here's a bullish example, right, of a candle that closes with no top wick, right? And here's a candle that closes with no bottom wick, right? So if we're looking for sells, let's say we're looking for sells and we have a closure like this, right? Let me just draw that nicely. There we go. We have a closure something like that. All right. So if we have a closure something like that, what do we do in these two candles? What does it mean? I think this is a huge, I've heard people say that this could be that price has no range to continue up, price has found resistance, price may reverse, price has no range to continue down. There's so many different scenarios and it causes a lot of confusion. Now, the way I've kept safe when price doesn't close with a top or bottom wick, what I do notice is immediately, and this is basically the rule that I've made based on my backtesting, is when a candle closes with no bottom or top wick, what I end up finding is that it becomes a 50-50% chance. There's a 50% chance that price is going to continue in the direction you intended, right? There's a 50% chance it continues down. And also there's a 50% chance that this candle literally here can end up what? Can end up reversing and shooting up to the upside after making a bottom wick, and maybe does this and now you're stuck. So it flips the odds to 50-50. So you always want a candle that has a bottom wick because that keeps the odds normal. So there's not many candles that don't have a bottom wick, but when they do, it makes it 50-50. So how are we going to avoid having a 50-50, and how are we going to trade using our knowledge to be able to get into the markets when we have this scenario? First of all, if there's a lot of volume in the market, right? Let's say this is London Open. What we can do is we can anticipate price, right, to come down, make a bottom wick. Once that bottom wick is made and it's left its bottom wick like this, once it flips here and if there's a lot of volume in the market, we could just take the trade and see what happens, right? See if we can get up here and see if we can wait till this closure and have an idea in our head that, okay, fine, if this next candle does not close bullish but ends up closing bearish, I can just close the trade. So you can have that in your mind. But the best way to see when you have no top wick and no bottom wick with a closure, because you know some people say this is close at resistance, but at times of volume this actually shows you that price just wants to go down, right? Why? Especially if you're trading something like gold, you'll see this candle happen a lot on the 5-minute time frame, and that actually means that there's a lot of volume coming into the market, that selling orders continued to pile on even till the candle close, right? So if you have that information, once the next candle makes its top wick, you can look to continue sells, because this candle is actually nice because it's telling you there's a lot of selling pressure in the market. So the rule is when there's volume, you can look to continue that momentum and not worry too much about no top wick and no bottom wick, because when there's volume, you can expect that. But when there's not so much volume and you're not you're anticipating to wait for the move to play out, if you're waiting for the move to play out, you have to play the game a little bit different. So the way you play the game is that what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the next candle here, right? So you're going to wait for the next candle to essentially show you that it's respecting the zone. So if we had a scenario where this price closed outside of the range, what you want to see is you either want to see on lower time frame that price creates some sort of wick itself like this. Actually will be red here. So price creates something like this, right, and starts moving down, and this is a little bit more advanced. And once this happens on lower time frames, this wick that was created here, and I need you guys to let me know in the comments if this makes sense. If it doesn't, you can ask in the group, so be sure to join that. But this wick that was created here essentially becomes the top wick of this. So if the next candle after lower time frames ends up breaking this zone like that, and you get another candle that's looking something like this, what ends up happening is that this is essentially breaking the top wick, that candle that you got. The top wick becomes here of this candle, and this candle broke it, and that's where your entry can be to avoid that confusion of not having a top wick on this. So that's a little bit more advanced. I'll probably have to go a lot more in depth, and I mean that's, you know, most of the time you're not going to encounter that, right? And if you're not going to encounter that, then you don't have to worry too much about it. We can see on the chart where it becomes a 50-50. You can see how the results are mixed here. So in the beginning of the video, there was an immediate result here. We could see how it just reversed price. But let's say, you know, this one, right? Actually, let's remove this. So let's see where we've not had a top and bottom wick. See, most of the times we do, so it's not something like here. What happened was that we had no bottom wick. But you guys actually have to look at the chart. We were at support. So I don't really care that it has no bottom wick. I'm not selling there anyways. You were kept safe. So you have to realize that as well. Is that you have to realize, where are we trading on the market? Does it make sense for price to continue down or continue up? If it doesn't, then obviously a top and bottom wick will not be relevant, because in the beginning it didn't even make sense to go down anyways, right? To see if we can keep scrolling back and find a scenario where we see, like here, look, 50-50, right? No bottom wick, price reversed, right? 50-50, and then you'll find another scenario here where we have no bottom wick and price ends up reversing, continuing. Look at this, no top wick, momentum was in the market, did not care about no top wick. But what is important here is that we get the bottom wick on the next candle. That gives us a lot of confidence. But when there's momentum, you see it ignores it. So that's what I mean, it becomes a 50-50. So when there's momentum, we can follow our bias and expect that our stop loss, maybe down here or here, is gonna hold, right? And if we're gonna find resistance, we're most likely gonna find it up here. So as you can see, it does cause a 50-50, and that's what I've experienced, and that's what I think happens most of the time. Otherwise, from that, pretty simple. That's basically all I want to say. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Hope it makes sense, and I appreciate you guys watching till the end of the video. If you have, I hope I cleared everything up for you. And if you do enjoy the video, please leave a subscribe. If you're new to the channel, stick around, leave a subscribe, join the live streams and all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, you like the production, and you like the editing. And with that being said, guys, take care, trade sharp, and until next time, peace.